Well, good morning, you guys. Oh, I know it's been a month, I think, since my last video, and I know so many of you have wanted an update, and my recovery has been slow and brutal. So, and honestly, they work me so hard here at the recovery center here. I don't have much time in the day, so it is 5:30-ish a.m. and so I figured I'd jump on and say hi. And first and foremost, I want to thank you all so much. Like, thank you is never going to be enough for what you all have done for me and my family. The GoFundMe has, it's beyond blown us all away. I am speechless, and I will never be able to thank you guys enough for gifting me time and being able to recover without the stress of money, without the worry of keeping my house and my car and all the other things that, when something like this happens, that's especially when you're not the breadwinner, the first thing that comes to your mind is, like, I have no income coming in. Like, my husband is gone. How am I going to pay the house payment? How am I going to pay the car payment? How am I going to pay, the electric bill? Those are the things that, at least for me, that I worried about. And all of the things like Social Security and all of those things, those are all, of course, those all are factors, right, that come into play. But when you're dealing with an accident like we dealt with, and I'll leave in the description box, because I'm not going to be able to leave a link up above, but down below in the description box I will leave the link to my other video explaining what happened. But basically, we were hit head on by a drunk driver, and who was 4 times the legal amount. And so when an accident like that happens, there's an investigation and there's an autopsy, and everything is dragged out. So you can't, you can't, especially with me being in the hospital. I'm in my 5th week of being here in the hospital, and I couldn't leave to say goodbye to my husband. I couldn't. So Matt won't have a funeral. And with an autopsy and everything, that drags the time out. Cremation gets dragged out. The death certificate gets dragged out. So everything is delayed with an accident like this. So it's been emotionally brutal and taxing, and so you have all lifted those worries from me, and I will never be able to thank you enough for that. You've all been incredible. You all asked for a P.O. box so that you could send me cards and letters, and so my girlfriend Allison opened up a P.O. box. I'll leave that down below too in the description box. And you guys have been flooding that P.O. box. She goes every day, and every night we sit on FaceTime, and she goes through each and every card with me and reads them to me, and it has been so therapeutic for me. I can't even tell you. So thank you for everyone who's sending me beautiful cards and even donations through the mail, gifts for the kids. You all have just been amazing. Definitely my extended family for sure. And so I want to thank you for helping me and helping my family get through this. But thank you is just not enough. It falls flat. It falls short. You have definitely been God's army for me, and so thank you. The kids are doing well. They are in therapy, so they have started that grief therapy. Mason remembers the entire accident. He also watched his daddy die, and so that's been very traumatic for him. So he's able to talk his way through that. His therapist lost her father in an accident around the same age, so she's got some personal experience as well as, all of her training. So he is he's doing well, being able to talk. That's what he wanted to do. He wanted to get it out. He wants to talk about what happened. He wants everyone to know what happened. Mina, she won't talk about her daddy at all. She will talk about her injuries. She will talk about Mason's injuries. She'll talk about my injuries. But she won't talk about her daddy's because she said they're too scary. And she doesn't want to talk about Matt at all. She has begun to cling on to her uncle, my sister's husband, Sonny. And so she has really clung on to him, and he loves it. And loving on him and bonding with him like she did her daddy. She was a daddy's girl. As much as she loved me and loves me, Mina's definitely a daddy's girl, and so she needs that. But their injuries are doing well. I think they've got 3 to 4 weeks left in their casts. Mina has the broken arm from her shoulder to her wrist. Mason has 2 broken arms. One is casted. The other one has pins that need to come out. And he's got stitches where his bone came out of his skin up by his shoulder. But that is healing well. And Mina's gash on her head is healing well. My sister's putting a lot of Moderna, I think that's what it's called, and some vitamin E on that so that it heals really well. And her neck, her collar comes off, I believe, in 4 to 6 weeks. So they're healing from their injuries, but they're injured still. So I'm doing well. I am in my 5th week here. The plan right now is for me to go home at the end of 6 weeks. If I need to stay, I'll stay an additional week, so I'll be here, be in the hospital for 7. But we're really aiming for the end of next week, so I'm working really hard. I am up. As you know, one of my legs was crushed, so that is non-weight bearing. I also have 2 broken wrists, which I now have the casts off from. But my wrists are also non-weight bearing. So all of my weight has to go into my elbows. So I'm learning to do a lot, holding my upper body up with my elbows. My foot that I can bear weight on is broken. It's fractured. I believe it has 9 fractures, along with all 5 toes being broken. But that is healing slowly, and I do have an air boot that I wear. And if you pump up the air boot enough around my ankle, I can put a lot of weight into my heel and not so much in the front of my foot, so I'm able to walk. I do have a custom walker that has elbow pads on it, so when I walk, I can lift my body weight with my elbows and then I walk on my broken foot with the air cast. So that's been working for me. I'm sore. I'm not gonna lie. This is the hardest work I've ever done. I also get therapy twice a week with a speech therapist who specializes in brain trauma. I had a very bad brain bleed that they actually thought was going to kill me. They didn't know if I would end up with any brain activity. Thankfully, it didn't, and it stopped bleeding, and I'm recovering from it. But I do have amnesia, and I do have a lot of memory loss. I have, I'll be talking in mid-sentence, I'll forget what I was talking about. I have a hard time finding words, finding proper vocabulary for things that I'm trying to explain or describe. So I'm doing a lot of therapy with that to try to heal the back part of my brain that's been injured. My ribs are healing beautifully. My lung is healing beautifully. I had a collapsed lung, and a chest tube. The chest tube is now scabbing over, so that's healing. My lung is sounding really good. I had some diminished breathing for quite a while, but this week that is healing and sounding really good. I do some breathing exercises, some treatment. I forgot what you call the machine, but you basically breathe into a tube, and so I can breathe up to 1750 now on that machine, for those of you who know what I'm talking about. So I do that about 10 times an hour. So that has helped my lung heal beautifully. The ribs are healing, and so that's all good. So now it's learning how to self-care. So I washed my hair for the first time in the shower yesterday, and bathed myself in the shower. I needed a little bit of assistance, but could do a lot of it on my own. I can put some mascara on, although not well, and a little bit of powder and cream. So I'm learning to do that. I can brush my hair. I can open things like ketchup packets now, and jelly containers, and butter. I still struggle with milk containers. I can't open those. Or the paper for like cereal, the little individual cereals. I can't open that yet. So there's some things I can do, some things I can't do. But I am walking with my walker now. So I walk the halls, and I just had it changed in my orders last night that I can now use my walker instead of the, I think it's called a higher chair, where basically they put like a sling around you, and then they lift you with, I call it my G.I. Jane crane, but then they lift you and they take you to the bathroom, or they put you in your chair, or they put you to bed. I can now transition using my walker. I have to be braced, and I have to have my boot on. So I do need assistance in that. I can't do Velcro yet. I can't push or pull with my hands. And I'm non-weight bearing, but little things I'm learning how to do with my fingers, which is difficult. I have a non-working thumb on my right hand, so I can't really straighten it unless I push it back. But I am doing therapy on that, and I don't have any control over my pinky finger. It's kind of stuck there. So lots of therapy going on with my hands right now. Lots of therapy happening with my legs. A lot of exercises. I do about 5 hours of physical therapy a day, and they usually come in 3 times a day. They usually come in after breakfast, and we work on my legs and my leg strengthening, and then they'll come back in after lunch, and that's when we'll walk, and we'll do some more leg exercises, and then from my physical therapist, and then my occupational therapist comes in and works with my hands, and a lot of deep tissue massage in my arms where I have a lot of nerve damage. and upper body strength. So strengthening my core, strengthening my glutes, strengthening my my chest, my entire upper body, because that's what holds a lot of my weight now when I walk. So working hard. I'm exhausted by the end of the day. This is the hardest thing I've ever had to do, and it's tough because, you know, when I accomplish something, the first thing I think is, I can't wait to tell Matt. Sorry. So grieving's been difficult. You know, I was, when I got here, well, when I was in Ann Arbor, my dad was able to stay with me, and then they made a special exception for Mason and Mina to come see me once. And then the last day I was there, they made an exception, and they let Jake, my oldest son, who started the GoFundMe, come in and see me. And here I was in I can't see, this is where I can't think of the proper term, but basically I couldn't have any visitors for 2 weeks. I was in kind of like in a lockdown because of COVID. So I was unable to see anybody. They could come to my window and wave, and a lot of my friends and family did that just to show me love and support. But grieving alone has been the most difficult. The isolation of being alone has been the most difficult. So, being able to read your cards and your letters. Now, some of them they're tough. They're tough for me. But getting your cards and your well wishes and reading your comments has been has been a saving grace for me, because, you know, you're alone in a room, you know. And as soon as I was able to get visitors last week, they had a COVID scare, and so visitation was locked back down, and so that's been difficult. So I would say through this whole thing, you know, physical aside, the isolation has been really, really a challenge for me, especially while I'm mourning, because I have no one to mourn with, you know, physically, you know, to be able to be hugged and touched and have my hand held. And so that's been brutal. It almost borderline cruel, if I can just say it, if we're just being honest. And so my heart goes out to everyone else who's struggling with the same thing. I'm in Michigan. We have had a tyrannical governor, one who is now under investigation. And so the protocol that she's put in place to me has been cruel. And from what I know, our drunk driver that hit us is free and has yet to be charged. So I pray every night that he doesn't hurt anyone else before he's arrested. My biggest fear is that he'll have nothing to lose, and that he's just going to get wasted again and hurt somebody else. And so pray that doesn't happen. Good morning. So, all right. So my nurses are here, and they're ready to take everything, all my vitals in the morning, and I'll get my Lovenox shot and all of the things. So I'm going to wrap this video up, but I just wanted to say thank you guys, and I will check back in with you guys as soon as I can, and hopefully the next time we talk, I'll be home. So you guys take care. Thank you, and God bless you all.